Good morning, everybody. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. And if you're coming back for a second, third, fourth, fifth, or I think even a sixth time, welcome back. My name is Meredith Harris. I'm the Executive Director of Marlborough Economic Development Corporation, and I'm joined today by our moderator and Director of Marketing and Communications, Jill Morin.
Hi, everyone. Great to see you again, Meredith. It's our sixth episode, which is a big deal. We're having a great time.
We're having way too much fun with this, I think.
We're having a really great time. So if you're joining us, like Meredith said, welcome. We want to encourage you to go ahead. If you're joining us live on Facebook and YouTube, make a comment. Let us know you're here. Let us know if you have any questions for us or for our special guest today, which we will be introducing soon.
In just a second.
So if you're joining us, go ahead and leave us a comment in YouTube or on Facebook. And if you're watching this on WMCT TV, hello. We're so excited that you're here and that you're watching. You can also send us an email or give us a call if you want to join the conversation in any type of way or if you have any ideas for us.
Or questions. Happy to take questions.
Anything. Pretty much.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Meredith, can you wrap up last episode for us?
Yeah,
what did we talk about episode 5.
Last week was really fun. We had Michael Andelman from Phantom Gourmet join us for the podcast. We talked a lot of food, fun, salads. I think at one point we talked about salads. So we had a lot of fun. We had a little game for Michael at the end of last episode, which I think we might make part of our regular repertoire here.
I had fun with it.
I did too.
I mean, it was a shame that Michael was so boring, though.
I know.
His energy was really
really low. We couldn't keep up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that the game video that we shared afterwards
was awesome.
Got more
attention.
Yeah, than our actual podcast.
Well, and we all got some good ideas of where to go.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So last week though we had a winner. So you need to announce the winner.
We did. So we had our little thank you, Meredith.
You're welcome.
I always forget the details. So again, if you're watching us live, if you share this on Facebook, we can really track. So if you have this link and you're watching this right now, go ahead and share this on one of your groups or on your page, and you'll be entered to win a gift card to one of Marlborough's local restaurants.
Well, last week was really fun because we had the taste test.
Yeah.
And Dairy Queen won the taste test, and then Mike was actually the one that won the spin.
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
so.
cool.
Without further ado, we'll stop talking about the past.
Yes.
We're in the present, and today we have a really exciting guest, and we're really excited to have Rob Schlacter here with us today from the Marlborough Regional Chamber of Commerce to talk a little bit about the Chamber and how MEDC and the Chamber work together on a unique partnership. You know, not many communities have both an MEDC and a MRCC working together to really support business. So with that, welcome, Rob. We're really excited to have you today.
Thank you very much. I finally made it. I feel like I made it.
You're a star. You're here.
You have arrived.
I am thrilled to be here. I wish there was ice cream, to sample,
I know.
but we'll do what we can.
We should make that part of our regular repertoire as well. Yeah.
Well, we got you water in an MEDC
Thank
cup.
you. Yes. I wish I would have brought my own logo.
There you go.
I know.
That's right.
Maybe we can put like a sticker, MRCC sticker on the back of one. Do you have any stickers? Decals?
We can make some.
There you go.
We have some printers in the chamber.
Perfect.
So anything
Perfect.
you need.
So we're going to kick it off, Rob. For people that are watching, the whole point of this, podcast is to really educate folks on the business community, what we do, why we are here. Right. Can you do the same thing for folks that maybe don't know what is a chamber? What is a regional chamber, but what exactly is the Marlborough Regional Chamber? Been in business for many, many years. So I'll turn it right over to you.
Well, thanks.
What exactly is it?
So actually at its core, you would describe, I guess, a Chamber of Commerce as an organization of businesses that seek to further their collective interest, right? So it's voluntary. They are all members and pay dues to it. And basically, it's from all different types of trades and industries, and they serve as spokespeople and representatives of the business community. And, we saw some unbelievable examples this previous year during the pandemic of how the business community, rallied to support not only each other but the community as well. Yeah. But I brought some helpful trivia, for people who don't know very much about chambers.
We love trivia.
Trivia.
So actually, the first English-speaking chamber was the Chamber of Commerce in North America. It was in Charleston.
Okay.
Right, and that was back in 1750.
Okay.
That they finally, formed, and it dates back into colonial times. Even in 1773, for that same year, actually the Boston Chamber of Commerce back then organized a seminal tax protest
Okay.
that you know as the Boston Tea Party.
Boston Tea
And
Party.
that was actually the Chamber of Commerce that
No kidding.
organized that and did that.
Really?
Yeah, it's really, it's an advocacy group for, businesses around the city and region.
Sure.
And, really we have such a great collective group of businesses and industries
Well, such a wide
represented.
variety too.
It's amazing to be a part of. It really is.
And what's the tagline? Refer, network, grow.
Network, refer, and grow.
Okay, had it a little mixed up, but that's
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
we for sure have some chamber members watching us right now.
Yay.
So we've got Kelly from Addiction Referral Center here, and she's saying good morning.
Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. And we also have Peter here. Peter B. Good morning, MEDC. Good morning. We're
Good
so
morning,
happy
Peter.
to have you. And again, if anyone's joining, if you have any questions for us at MEDC, at the Marlborough Regional Chamber of Commerce, that's kind of really what makes this podcast fun, that we get to interact with you and answer your questions. So go ahead and let us know if you have any questions. All right, Rob, keep going. Tell us more about.
Well, so I'm going to jump in a little bit. So I
Yeah.
think a lot of times the biggest thing I hear from people when they hear about there's a Chamber of Commerce, there's an MEDC, what is the difference between the two of you, or how do you work together? And I think Rob and I, we've been working together 3 years?
Going into the third year,
Wow.
believe it or not. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Chamber's been around how many years?
1924.
1924.
Right.
So far before my time, your time, all of our time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
So, when we talk about how do we work together, I like to think of it as the MEDC really is kind of the promotional arm for the city that's out there trying to attract business to come into the community. When we kind of hook them, right? And then once we get them here, we turn them over to Rob and to the chamber to try to help them build and network and build their business, grow their business, and become part of the, not only the Marlborough community, but the chamber community as well, right? Where they can kind
Exactly.
of help each other and lean on each other. So I think that's probably, I don't know if you get the same question, but I hear from people a lot of kind of, well, what's the difference? Or,
Right.
how are you guys different?
You're
So-
right. And actually, I think some folks, initially we have a lot of calls. Yeah, I talked to you guys earlier.
Right.
Well, we don't have that on record. Well, it was MEDC, isn't
right.
that you? No.
Right.
So I like to look at it as, we have our parallel paths, but to your point, MEDC I regard as the sales and marketing arm of the city of
Sure.
Marlborough.
Yep.
You bring them in, and then from there, we compliment them on why Marlborough is such a great city to be a part of and to work, live, and play in.
Right.
So
And you guys are connecting them with folks too. Once a
Yeah.
company comes in and they come to you and say, hey, I'm looking for so-and-so, or I'm looking for this. And you guys are able to really kind of help them network and make connections with folks on a deeper level.
Correct. And,
Yeah.
we play a big role in advocacy from everything from ensuring that the residential and business tax
Right.
rates are in line. And really the primary tagline of Network, Refer, and Grow came from listening for my first
Right.
6 months as far as what the business community wanted. They wanted to be a part of a fellowship and a very strong network. They wanted to help each other by introducing and getting referrals, and ultimately that would result in them growing their business.
Right. So you guys went through recently kind of almost like a rebrand, a rebirth, the chamber kind of, a new age for the chamber, right? So
Right.
can you tell us a little bit about what are some of the newer things you guys are doing? I know the website looks totally different. You have a whole new logo. I mean, things look different at the chamber than they did 5 years ago.
Right. Yeah. So I think the main goal for me was to just come in after previous leadership had been there with quite a bit of
30
tenure.
years, right? Yeah.
Yeah, almost 30 years. So naturally, it was time to take a look and say, what is the future and what's the strategy moving forward? So with my background in corporate America and running business units, I use the same approach of first thing you have to do is listen to the customer.
Yeah.
And we went to our members and basically just identified what they wanted to happen. And it was time to refresh the brand, refresh the look. Social media and the web
That's a whole
played
new animal,
a
isn't
much
it?
different role than it did in the past.
Right.
So we just kind of brought everything up with what we thought was the key that the community and the business community was looking for. I think some of those included some really exciting new platforms. So sustainability has been a huge, and climate change has been a huge effort for us. We're also looking at diversity and inclusion.
Sure.
And
It's a big deal in Marlborough.
It really is.
Yeah.
And we partnered with the LGBTQ Chamber out of Boston.
That's great.
Where we're going to begin to educate companies that want more up-to-date information on the latest and greatest things that apply to how diverse our workforce is becoming.
Sure.
And then importantly, I think you'll see in the future, we're definitely going to make an outreach to the Brazilian and Portuguese community that around the region is a large percent.
That
touches Jill's heart, right?
It does, because I'm before getting into marketing and communications and all of that, I was an ESL teacher for 11 years. So I would say my second language is Brazilian Portuguese.
Miss Jill.
Miss Jill, yeah, I should do a little plug on my YouTube channel. E aí, gente? Fala-me, tá bom? Me dá like, tá? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, Miss Jill doesn't know, but she's been identified as one of the committee members for the outreach.
Oh.
So congratulations, Jill.
Guys!
You heard it first here.
I hate the attention.
It's been too much fun. Way too much fun.
All right, wait, let me, as I'm up on the screen, let me make sure I say hi to our friends
Please.
who are joining us live. David Briggs says, good morning, guys.
Good morning, David.
Thank you so much for joining us. And Daniel T.
Good morning.
Looks like a baseball fan.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great.
Good morning. Great to have you here.
So what were we talking about? We were talking about the rebrand.
Yes.
So, all right, Rob, a question I have for you. You mentioned the pandemic, right? So how difficult was it? I mean, you 3 years, we're in what year? Go a little over a year of the pandemic. So you were really kind of just getting started.
Oh, yeah.
And then the pandemic hit. I mean, tell us a little bit about that, or how did it change the way, not only you do business, how you guys are doing business, but the business landscape. I mean, things are so different now. And I mean, some of the challenges that we're facing in the future, this work from home, right? I mean, a lot of what we do in economic development is trying to bring people into the community, the networking. I mean, all of these things have changed so drastically through COVID. Do you think it's going to come back, or, what's your take? What are you hearing from folks?
So to go back to the first comment, you're right. So after the first year of leading the chamber, we started 2020, and things were really starting to cook.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the last meeting we had before it really hit was actually with City Council.
Oh, that's right.
And I can remember where we were almost lightly, you can't shake hands, got a fist bump because of
Yeah, we were almost joking about it.
We were almost joking about
Yeah.
it because nobody really knew what was going on.
Right.
And then about a month later, we were deemed as non-essential.
Yeah.
So our
How
staff,
does that feel, right?
Well,
We're on the same boat.
yeah. So we found ourselves now, working from home
Right.
remotely, and
That has its challenges in and of
oh my
itself.
goodness, yeah. So amazingly enough, we were actually able to pivot, and with the help of WMC TV, who's
Yep.
been fantastic, we pulled off every event
That's amazing.
virtually.
Yeah.
Right. And now the mention of Zoom just makes you sweat because you don't want to get on another Zoom call.
Everyone's zoomed out.
Everybody is so zoomed out,
Yeah.
but we actually, with the exception of one event that was food related that we gathered for, the sponsorship, the membership rallied around,
That's awesome.
Zoom wise, and that was really the sign that the fellowship of the chamber was strengthening.
Well, yeah, and people rally around each other during then tough times where you see what people are made of, right?
Yeah. And I have to say that I was so inspired and touched by the outreach that the businesses were not only providing to each other,
Right.
whether it was information on PPP or where you got protective devices, loan forgiveness,
Yeah.
and then it got into food, and just about anything you could think of. The watching them rally around not only themselves but the community was very inspiring.
Yeah.
And I knew right then that we were going to be coming out of this in good shape. And
Sure.
indications are, listen, I hope We have events scheduled in September
I hope
where
they take
we're
place,
hoping,
yeah.
and they're going to be outside. So
Yeah.
by that point, with the vaccines and the rates that they're going, if people feel comfortable and they're vaccinated and will be safe distance and outside, that we can get
can
back
do
to
it.
some sense, because
Yeah.
everybody is just wanting to be back together.
Well, and I think, so one of the biggest things that the chamber does is networking, right? And I
Right.
think people are missing that.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of these things, the podcast and trying to come to people virtually, but still be a face, because at some point, we're humans, right?
Yeah.
we need that interaction where we're all kind of, ready for it. And I think that'll be really exciting to be able to bring people back together.
We are looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I've got a few comments that
Great.
I think would really add to where we're at exactly right now. So Peter has a question for us, and then David, I see your question. We're going to get to that for sure. So Peter says, do you think COVID will permanently change the way networking events are hosted? And are there any positives that you see will come from these changes? What do you guys think?
Well, so I think that COVID is going to permanently change a lot of things.
Yeah.
Some for the better, some maybe not so much. I think networking events will come back because, like I just said a few seconds ago, inherently that's what people like to do, right? We're natural beings. We want to be around other people. We want to be social. I do think it's kind of cool though that we have this ability to do things virtually now, though. I mean, those board meetings that are held in Boston at 8:00 on a Wednesday morning, you can now participate in those from, without, if you can't get there, or, so myself, a working mother, right?
Yeah.
If I can't get to Boston by 8:30 because I'm dropping off at daycare, or I'm doing these other things, I can now still participate in those meetings because now everybody's on the platform.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a cool thing. I think that's going to change the way that we just do business in general.
Yeah.
I do worry about the work from home hybrid model, how that's going to be moving forward. Some of the bigger, larger companies that they don't need to be in the building. That makes me a little nervous that there's going to be a lot more of that moving forward. But at the same time, you're kind of seeing this shift towards the life sciences and the manufacturing, and the demand for that type of space is only increasing. So I just think it's going to be different, moving forward. So what do you think, though, Rob? Networking events, are they going to look different?
You know what? I think they'll look different, but commerce runs on networking, right? So fundamentally, I think it will take a different shape. But I will say, I don't think we know yet the full impact of this.
That's fair.
When you listen to, there was a great Zoom call the other day on
No kidding, right?
session where, look, these large companies are facing unknown waters about back to work
Yeah.
and the implications of what takes place here. So the good news for us is we have such a great collection of large corporate members that in our large employee or roundtable, everybody is sharing their ideas on what they're hearing and what they're experimenting with, to try and make it as normal as possible. But we hope that once we identify this, and hopefully it becomes a booster shot as they work with variants and becomes like a flu vaccine, everybody hope it's going to get back to some sense of normalcy.
Well, and there's some people, right, that have heard in my personal life of like, this has been great. Anytime things you didn't want to go to before, COVID, can't go, you can't get out of the house. So I think we'll see a little bit of that come back, right?
Well, I can speak personally too, in terms of the restrictions that we have and some of the skills that I've picked up along the way in terms of digital marketing and all of that stuff. So there are different opportunities that I think we can all kind of lean into now. So for me personally, it's been interesting. And so I think that networking for me has gone to virtual networking.
You just showed me something yesterday. I forget what the name of it was, but it was an app. It was a new social media. I don't know if I can handle any more social media. But
there's a lot of...
there's a lot.
But like Clubhouse is the name of the app.
Really cool.
Very interesting. So there's lots of, even from that, I've connected with people on Instagram that are wanting me to do like virtual producing and stuff like that. So I think the companies that have taken the opportunity to say, wow, we're really restricted here, but we're not just like, we're restricted and we can't do everything we want. But like, okay, what's the workaround?
Right.
And not everybody is quick and innovative like that. So networking with people that can help give you ideas and help you, be successful during this time or any time is really key. Like networking has been everything for me in terms of being able to grow my own personal brand.
Right.
The software that we use for live streaming Ecamm Live has opened up so many job opportunities for me personally.
Right.
But it's only because we were kind of forced into it a little bit. But being innovative and flexible and willing to put yourself out there and try new things is huge. And I think it shows for those that can do that. But it's a little scary. And when especially when you're in a town like this or a city like this, people have done things a certain way for a long period of time. So, what are some of the steps? I'm just kind of going off here. What are some of the steps or some of the moves that people in the chamber who have not thrived during this time, what are some of the steps that they've taken to continue their business or to increase their business? What have you seen as someone that's working with so many different companies?
So, I think that the first thing that strikes me is the folks who had the ability to pivot.
Yeah.
And while I was looking at it initially as, oh my gosh, how this is impacting businesses, some people would say to me, this is when you have to be able to pivot regardless of what the circumstance is.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether it's an economic downturn, a pandemic, and to watch some of the innovation
It's incredible.
and the workarounds has been unbelievable.
We were just talking this morning, not to, we'll come back, but like the ghost kitchen, right? So shout out to Fireflies, fire pie, what is that what he's calling? Fire pies. This is like, what an amazing, cool pivot, innovative thing that they're doing. And there's a lot of them all around. So, I mean, sorry, I totally cut you off, but just like that just jumped into my brain as a member that's doing something so different.
Yeah.
Right?
And then you have the folks who are actually doing startup right in the throes of pandemic.
Yeah.
So I think it's industry dependent.
Yeah, for sure.
And some of the fears that I have is still with this looming, oh my gosh, can somebody still get COVID?
Yeah.
The folks who have worked so hard, specifically in hospitality, let's take that as an example. If one of the associates happens to come down with COVID, all that hard work of then having to shut down and quarantine, is still in the back of people's minds.
Right.
And I'm looking forward to that, coming to an end, because one of the byproducts of this is even for the folks who want to get back to business, they're having a very difficult time finding people.
Yeah. Oh, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
And that whole good intent of unemployment extension has brought a whole new set of issues for people that need help on a regular basis.
Right.
So.
All right, I've got a few more questions.
Yes.
You told David you'd get back to him.
I'm
okay. All right.
Listen.
All right, you too.
That's what I was going to do. All right, so wait, before I get to David's question, I just want to say I see you guys are asking questions. So awesome. Thank you so much. Keep them coming because we're going to get to them for sure. So let's go on to David's question.
Let's hear it.
Thank you for keeping me accountable,
You're
Meredith.
welcome.
So David Briggs says, I have a music promotion business. Are you advocating to bring back singing and dancing venues?
Would love that.
Let's do it.
So Jill is all...
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so shy. I hate talking about myself, but let me just get this
Can we
close
just
up.
call this the Jill
The Jill
Show?
Show?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not the Jill Show.
The Jill Hour.
So I am 100% right-brained, and what that means is I'm super creative, and so music, the arts, technology, communication, languages, all of that just fits there. But if I were to pan my camera to the left, you'd see the left side, which is faulting because there's all sorts of things I need to put away. Enough about me. I hate the attention.
But yes, so to answer the question,
music.
What was the question?
Absolutely. So
Dance venues.
are we advocating for music and dance venue? Yes. And I mean, again, I know we just said this, but Firefly, like the live music at Fireflies, and we were just talking about the outdoor concert series for the city. I mean, those are all things that I'm so excited to have them come back. I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know, Rob, if you have any insight, but it's starting. We're getting closer. We're getting closer.
Yeah. I would say that safely July, August, I think we'll be far enough along into the vaccination program where people will feel comfortable, still safe distancing, probably masking, but outside with warmer weather. it'll be okay.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Ward Park because I grew
Oh.
up there, but I'd love to see like a stage down on Ward Park, and then even if people are they're spread out and take up the whole field and do like a walkathon and have concerts going.
So we are
Let's do it.
we are betting on that because I know we're going to talk about proposed events later, but in September we do have a barbecue, bands, and brew
Awesome.
scheduled.
Awesome.
That's
All
gonna
things
be,
I like.
Yes, outdoors at the Wayside Inn with
it's so beautiful down
local restaurant suppliers and bands and our Marlborough Brewery Group.
That's awesome.
supplying.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we're counting on it.
I can't wait for comedy to come back. I miss comedy show. And I hope so.
Yeah.
So yes, David, I absolutely would be advocating for that. As soon as we can, would love to have that back.
Right.
We've got another question. What are your thoughts on growing a skilled labor force in light of social distancing and learning environments? What are your thoughts on growing a skilled labor force in light of social distancing and learning environments? From Ivan. Thank you so much for joining us, Ivan.
Yeah. So Ivan, I can only comment on in the hospitality industry. We are engaging with our college and high school to business, where we are beginning to get folks into training, whether it's food safe or things required in the hospitality industry, as well as internships and summer jobs to begin to build alternative skill sets, to create a wider pool to draw from.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that once we get past the unemployment piece and people are going back to work, we'll be able to expand on that even further.
Yeah, and I know Marlborough Public Schools is doing this really amazing program, the work-based learning program, where Patriot Ambulance, they're still engaging in those programs where the students are following, social distancing, but they're in the workforce and they're training. And we work with the STEM Council regularly. Rob and I both do with the local high schools, just to continue to build the pipeline, and we did a series last week called Inside the Industry with Citara, just talking about what types of jobs are available, trying to prep the young pipeline in our community for the types of jobs that are available to them.
Right.
I mean, there's so much opportunity in Marlborough. There's so many different places you can work. And what we find often is that folks think that it's out of their reach.
Sure.
I could never work there, or I don't know what they do over there. So we're really trying to break down collectively, all of us together, break down those walls, and make sure that the folks that are in our schools, because we have amazing schools. We have amazing schools in Marlborough and in the surrounding communities. The pipeline is here. The workforce is here.
So was that Ivan that asked that question?
Yes.
Yes, Ivan.
So,
Yep.
I would encourage folks like Ivan, this is the way that the genesis of ideas happens.
Right.
So if there is a vision for what he's asking, to your point, we have Hudson Public Schools, Marlborough Public Schools, AMSA. There's a new charter school coming into play, Assabet, and all the superintendents are open to innovative ideas that way. So
They all want to partner.
Happy to discuss ideas at any time.
Well, even WMCT, I mean, they really stepped up during this time for our schools in terms of live streaming sports. I mean, people could say, well, their job is to do video production, but they have really pivoted.
Oh, they went above and beyond.
Still. I mean, they're going to be at Kelleher Field tomorrow live streaming the Thanksgiving Hudson Marlborough game. But I bring that up to say that they've had students involved with them along. I mean, it's such a great opportunity for students that are interested in any type of video production. They haven't shied away from keeping them involved, and that's something that they only want to do more of. So I mean, if there are local companies that are interested in
getting involved.
That brings
students,
up that brings up a good point. So just to give an example of the chamber and the community again, let's take, there were a number of students who agreed, regardless of what the restrictions were, that they were going to remotely learn the whole year and not come back into classroom. And then we found out that there were a number of students struggling learning remotely.
Sure.
Our school to business committee came through our board, and we identified a student who was the son of one of our board members who had a software program that enabled us to pilot Marlborough High School called XLearn now,
Yeah.
where
This is formerly EdAssist, right?
it was formerly
Yep.
EdAssist,
Yep.
where the National Honor Society students who normally would go out into the community to perform service and get credit and couldn't because of COVID
Right.
became tutors.
Right.
And students who were struggling
That's awesome.
could sign up, get tutored, and the NHS students would earn credit from tutoring.
Right.
And that got into the parents' stream on social media.
That's awesome.
And I think at last count there were close to 70 students and mentors that were working together.
That's great.
So that's the power of how that business community serves the community, and there's so much more of that out there that has yet to be untapped, and we'll see what develops as this pandemic continues to come to an end.
Well, and I think we're doing ourselves a disservice, all three of us in this room. We have a mentorship series that we do together that we forgot to mention.
Let's bring it up.
Right. No, so honestly, you talk about building the pipeline.
Yes.
So the Marlborough Regional Chamber of Commerce, the MEDC, together, we partnered over the last year to do, we're called Passing the Torch, a mentorship series. And so we're pairing entrepreneurs or young, folks that are looking to get into business with some of our experienced business leaders through the chamber and through the MEDC, and really trying to help pass the torch, right?
Yeah.
Pass on the knowledge that we have within our community. So that's another great way for people to get involved.
Yeah. And a reminder on that, our first episode was with our very own
Sam Sherman.
Sam Sherman.
Right.
And she sat down with Steve Eulis, and now what is she doing right now?
Sam is no longer at the MEDC because she is off running her own food truck.
Running her
awesome.
own food
Yeah.
truck.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
It's great.
Not that everyone that comes in here for a mentoring session is going to leave with a full-time career,
But
the
possibilities.
knowledge and the support and the networking has just been great. And for our second episode with Brooke, thank you,
And Dr.
Brooke.
Fernandez.
Yep, that was great too. And she's well on her way to start college full time. I think she's graduating Marlborough High with a complete year of college under her belt, which is just so awesome.
She was actually Brooke was an intern at the chamber.
Yeah, that's right.
She told us about
That's
that.
right.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Very sharp.
All right, we've got a few more questions
Okay.
before we go. I know we've got kind of a list of things we're going to talk about, but we can't ignore our viewers.
No.
Hi, how are you? All right, so we had some comments back with when you were talking about the event. Jacqueline Kelly says, "Triple B, that sounds like a fun time." Sounds like a really fun time.
Yes, it is. And, we find that there are certain events that really hit a nerve, and we decided to get a little bolder and really open it up. So this is going to be on the Grounds of the Wayside Inn.
It's awesome.
And it's
so
going to,
beautiful
yeah,
there.
it's going to be,
What was it? Bands, brews, and barbecue?
Barbecue, bands, and brew.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
So
it. I'm there.
stay tuned.
Can we
and-
also add bouncy house? My
No.
kids love a good
Just
bouncy
tell her
house.
no.
No?
No.
No.
No, you have to be 21 to get in, obviously.
Oh, so this is a leave the
Yes.
kids at home type
Yes.
of event.
This is
I'm down.
yes.
And Kelly says, comedy, yes, our annual comedy show fundraiser, 460 people, has not happened since 2019 due to the pandemic.
Sad. I know.
Let's
I
bring
love
it back.
I love good comedy show. Yeah. Any more comments you wanted to get to? Because I've got a question for Rob.
We do have...
Okay, I won't jump in.
No, you know what? You go. Kelly, I see your question. I'm going to integrate that in a little bit here. Go ahead, Mary.
So I know we're bumping up against time, so I really just wanted to kind of ask Rob the elevator pitch, right? So like if a business, when you're going into a new business, whether it's a large corporation that's coming into Marlborough, it's a smaller, entrepreneur, what's your pitch? Why should people get involved in the chamber? How can you help businesses? And, go. We'll give it to you.
So, that's a great question, and that was also part of the formulation when you talked about the new direction.
Right.
Yeah.
So we developed an actual informational deck
Okay.
that basically lays out why you would want to become a member of the chamber.
Sure.
And trust me, having built a number of brands, for folks who want to network with other businesses and get referrals and attempt to grow their business, when you see this, from everything from the events that we do to the programming that we run to the way that we can help folks from notarization and certificates of art, there's no way looking at this deck that you wouldn't want to take the chance
Sure.
of becoming a member of the chamber.
Right.
And I would give my personal guarantee, if you can't grow your business as a result of knowing how to use the chamber effectively, then, I would gladly say, then, I don't blame you for not coming back.
Yeah.
But we have grown our membership by close to 100 folks, 100 new members during a COVID year.
Yeah.
So
incredible.
it's proving to
Yeah.
me that the value proposition, you can't not look at it and say, okay, I get it.
Right.
So there's so many ways, and that's even when we're on Zoom.
Yeah.
When the real magic happens when you're together at veterans events,
Sure.
honoring our veterans, to the typical type of networking events that we provide, and the information programming that we use.
Right.
So best thing to do, come on in and chat, and we'll take you through it.
Right. Well, and I think and the title of this episode was kind of how are we different, or how do we work together, right? And so the chamber is doing the networking and the referring and the, growing of business, and then the MEDC, and this is where kind of the unique partnership, right? You get all of that through the chamber, but then through MEDC we have the financial incentives, or if you need help working through the city process with permitting, or you need something like that, that's where we step in. And so we have different functions, but we to your point, I love the word you use, we complement each other. You're getting all of that from both organizations, where not every community is able to offer that. So it's really kind of a great partnership. We love having you guys in the community. It's great to work together to build a better, stronger community base for folks.
Without a doubt.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, I've got a question from Kelly. Since the pandemic began, has either the Chamber or MEDC seen an increase in corporate interest in social causes?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's everything that was going on the last year. I mean, for sure, I think that a lot of the bigger companies are looking to get involved. And I would say yes. Would you agree, Rob?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So our large employee roundtable, we're very fortunate to have such an influx, and hats off to MEDC for attracting the great companies that have come in. But everybody is working against the same social platforms. And when you harness some of the thinking, they are not shy about sharing.
Right.
So whether it's in HR or marketing or finance or real estate, they're sharing, and the big one is sustainability. So they're fully backing our partnership with the Rotary International, and we doubled the amount of recycle events that we're doing
Sure.
through the city.
Yeah,
as
you
a
guys
result
did a
of
bunch
that.
last year,
Yeah.
didn't you?
Oh my gosh, we did 2 last year,
great.
and ended up taking 6 truckloads
Wow.
of stuff. You wouldn't believe what we saw.
Wow.
So, but there's clearly a need,
Yeah.
and so we get a lot of support, and we doubled in size. So that shows you the power of how we can impact those social platforms.
Absolutely. Is it time for our game?
I think it might be time for our game.
I think it is time for the game.
Gotcha.
So we're going to preface the game with we're putting Rob totally on the spot.
Oh, great.
No, this is supposed to be fun, right? And we do want to just mention too, Rob, you have how many members in the chamber?
Close to 400.
Yeah, so you couldn't possibly, we're kind of going off of last week's game, but for anybody that's watching, these are not favorites. We're not picking of anyone.
No
We're just
favorites.
thinking what comes to mind. We're trying to have a little bit of fun.
So no hurt feelings, everyone.
That's right.
It's a game.
It's a game, and you didn't
Wish me
see the
luck.
questions before. So we're calling this one, instead of where would you go, it's going to be called who would you call, or who do you call?
Who do you call?
Ghostbusters.
So basically, we're going to give you... You told me to not let you do that.
I did it though. I know.
Oh my gosh.
So
want me to...
yeah, go.
So we're going to give you a situation, a scenario. So you're at your office.
Yes.
Someone comes in with a need or a statement or a vision or something like that. And then who do you network them to? So who do you call to get that person who just walked in,
Who do you put them in touch with?
Yeah.
All about connections, right? Because the chamber's all about connections, networking.
Meredith Harris.
The answer to all of them.
Well, so depending on what the need
Exactly.
is.
Yep.
So wait. That's the whole thing.
So we got him.
Oh,
gonna give
We're
you
going to
a
fire him at you.
I got you.
You're
All right.
like, that's so vague, guys.
All right, ready? Okay, so someone walks into your office and
Yes.
says, I have a degree in marketing, but I want to explore new trends. Who would you tell them to call? And it doesn't have to be a specific person either.
Right.
But, is there folks within the chamber that are in different businesses, different types of industry? Who would you have them connect with?
Yeah, so I have a very good handle on who I regard as, very strong entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So if they're looking on, the latest and greatest, let's say, social media.
Yeah.
I have groups like BBWrites where all they, do is focus on social media. I would go to you in terms of always coming up with the latest and greatest platforms for marketing.
Yeah.
So I actually have a full list by industry.
Yeah.
And so depending on what the question is, and me knowing the members the way I do,
Right.
I go right to that person who I know would pick up the phone.
Right.
Yeah.
So an example like that for the latest craze in marketing, Runningboards.
I know. Isn't that
I
awesome?
know everybody has seen that truck
Yeah.
just driving, around with high-end res graphics, on the most
beautiful.
traveled
It's
routes.
so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
So it would be stuff like that where
Yeah.
that new member came in and presented me this concept. I'm like, oh my goodness, that
Right.
is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Right.
And here you go. Here's the number, and get in touch with him. And
And don't you even,
Off
Rob,
to
have
places.
like a wall of business cards when you
Yes.
walk into the chamber?
yes.
Yeah. That's what I mean. The connections are endless. You
Yes.
guys, for
Yeah,
sure.
they're really, we can figure it out.
Right.
And that's one thing I like about having MEDC as a resource as well. So if
Mm-hmm.
I get areas that I get questions on where I'm not sure, or
Yep.
I can't, point that out in my own memory, I'll call you.
Yeah, we can bounce things
Yes.
off each other.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, here's the next one.
Okay.
There's only a few. So I just graduated. I want to get into the IT cybersecurity world. Who should they call? Where should they go?
So EKG Networks,
Mm-hmm.
Citara Systems,
So many.
Cinch IT,
Mm-hmm.
Level 3. This is the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Right.
So depending on what the actual ask is, if
Right.
they want information, it's one thing. If they want a job or
Yeah.
an interview,
Sure.
that's another type of a phone call.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And there's
So-
so much experience. I mean, even the companies you just named,
Absolutely.
so much experience in the industry. Where you can sit down with any one of those folks and learn so much from all of them, different
Yes,
things.
without a doubt.
Yeah. All right, the next one. I want to open my own business and I need a loan. So who would you send them to?
Who do you call?
So we have a wealth of
Mm-hmm.
local and national banks that are associated. So Avidia, Main
Right.
Street, and I know I'll leave people out. I'll get phone
Yes, and
called
yes,
Capital
to be
One.
happen. Yes.
Yeah.
So depending on what type of loan,
Right.
under what circumstances, between bank connections,
Right.
between the toolbox.
I was just gonna say you can
that
send them
you
to us
guys
on that
offer.
one. Yeah.
There's nothing that I can think of as far as a question
That you wouldn't be able to answer.
that we couldn't set up with
Right.
a very
We've
knowledgeable
got three more
source.
questions.
Yeah, with three
Oh,
more.
So
All
okay.
let's keep testing you.
All right.
Let's see if you're telling the truth here,
Oh, boy.
Rob.
Yeah.
right. I need help with a business plan.
Yes.
Where do you send them?
I'd send them to SCORE
Yeah.
out of Worcester.
Yep.
That is retired executives
Yep.
that voluntarily help folks develop a business plan if
Right.
they're looking to launch.
Well, you know,
I haven't
it's
heard that.
well, what's funny is that when we get that question, you know where we send them? To you.
To you.
Yeah. So we used to have SCORE coming
In-house.
into our conference
Wow.
room pre-COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So now it's, we send them to meet somewhere or Zoom.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, just the resources that you guys have. Someone who's starting, and they might, if you're starting a business and you don't know, you don't know who to call. So that's the whole point of this whole game. Okay, next one.
Wait, Meredith, we've got a comment here from Peter. I'm going to be singing Who You Gonna Call?
You're welcome.
Ghostbusters for the rest of the
You're
day.
welcome, Peter.
Great segment. Thank you.
No problem. Happy to do that. Okay, here we go. I've been a mechanic most of my life, and now I want to branch out. Do we have those types of industry in the chamber? I'm assuming we do, right?
So career change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe they've
Yeah.
been working as a mechanic and then they want to maybe
Yeah.
open their own thing or.
Yeah. So, I would definitely do the discovery. So you're
Right.
a mechanic. What do you want to go do?
Yeah. What's the next step?
And here's everybody that has been after me about I need good people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Send them my way, regardless of their background.
Right.
And that's an enormous platform that we're trying to build on as well, is to get folks to be posting jobs on our website and become more of a go-to resource.
And that's not even just, I've been a mechanic. I mean, you can switch that out for anything, right?
Yes.
I've been a XYZ for my whole life, and I'm looking to branch out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Robert Warren says, I'll be singing, "We can work it out." We can work it out.
Music is
Awesome.
the theme. Yes.
Awesome. All right, the last question we have, I know, it's almost over. I want to open a restaurant,
Oh,
right?
yes.
I know, and during COVID, right? I want to open a restaurant during COVID. I don't know if we'd get that question, but
I would personally tell them don't.
don't.
No. Having 20 years of restaurant experience myself, and having gotten to talk to the entrepreneurs who have opened during the pandemic, continue to do so, we would be able to provide all the pros and cons and what to look for and what to prepare for, et cetera. So that'd be probably the easiest of all the questions.
Right. Well, then I'm glad we ended on an easy one then, right?
Yes.
Yes. So that's it for the game. I don't know if we don't give you don't win anything, Rob. But
What?
I should have, wait. I might
Wait a
have a
minute.
sound effect for clapping.
Right?
Wait. Applause.
Not even a T-shirt?
Yay!
There's applause going
Oh,
on
you
right
can
now.
have a T-shirt.
Okay.
You can
I
win a
didn't
T-shirt.
get ice
Get you a
cream. I
T-shirt.
figure I get
Perfect.
no.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. Well, we are over time. Rob, really enjoyed you being here
That
with
went
us
quick.
today.
That was fun.
It goes. We're having a lot of fun here at MEDC.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
Wait,
and
I do have a reminder though from a chamber member, Penny.
Yes.
And he says, don't forget that sorry, it's hard for me to read.
SBDCs.
Yep. Also help new businesses and existing businesses with business plans and loans and other issues.
That's
Awesome.
great.
Perfect.
Thank you,
for,
Penny.
for adding that.
Appreciate
Penny,
it.
she set me up. I did not mean to exclude you. So,
You're not excluded. No,
Not
no,
at
no,
all.
no, no. You
No.
are. I'm so glad that you said something though, so that we can remind people. And Cindy says that Rob is doing a great job. Rob,
thank you, Cindy.
that was your prize.
Wow.
That's your prize.
That's your prize. Recognition.
That's great.
Thank you
And
very much.
and also David says this was great and informative. Thanks.
Well, thank you for joining
Thank
us.
you
Thank
so
you to
much.
everybody for joining us, and we look forward to having you back again. Not next week, but the first and the third
The
Wednesday
first
of
and
every
third.
month
Yeah.
for exploring economic development with MEDC. And again, Rob, thank you so much for joining us today to
Very
tell
welcome.
folks a little bit about the chamber and how we work together and how we can continue to support business in Marlborough.
My pleasure. And thank you for
Awesome.
what you guys do.
Thank you.
Awesome.